We are back. Eric here. Hello to the Rune Army. And while you guys are joining in, those of you who will be watching live and those of you who will be watching on replay, allow me to introduce the one, the only, the newest member of Combichrist, my friend, Mr. Dane White.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Dane, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
You know,
it's really cool.
There's been a lot of anticipation. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for your patience. I know we posted about this, but as you know, sorry, I was reading your comments. As you know, obviously we are on tour, and it's just been a crazy couple weeks, and it's hard to find time. It seems like it would be simple for us to find time, but it's not actually.
Right.
And here we are on a day off, and first, thanks Dane for agreeing to use some of his downtime. It's my downtime too, and you know, I have all sorts of things I should be doing, none of them that I want to be doing. I just want to lay down on this bed. So we're in the day room, the Combichrist day room. Basically, as you know, everybody in the band comes in and showers, can relax for a little while, and then we're going to take off. But for now, I've gotten Dane to agree to come in and answer the questions that you guys have posted.
He had wine, too. So.
On Patreon. In fact, let's do a little intro. So in Grants Pass, a buddy of mine lives here and just gave a case of wine, and this is part of how I bribed Dane to come in here. Dane is a fan of wine.
Definitely.
And so I would like to share this bottle. This is a vineyard. If there's any Bavarians online, I'm not sure who's here yet. A friend of mine from Bavaria has moved to Oregon. He's making wine, and this is a vineyard that he works for called Del Rio. And
cheers.
Prost, as we say. But on that, I'm actually going to get right down to business because there's actually a lot of questions here, and you guys have really shown a lot of interest in Dane about what he's about, his musical influences, his history, and I got to admit, you know, we only recently met, obviously on this tour. I am hoping to learn a little bit more about Dane as well. I can tell you my own experience that Dane is a super nice guy. He's an excellent drummer. He's been really easy to work with. He's been great to work with. It's a godsend. I'm feeling really strong about the band. Professionally, I'm feeling really good about the band. Interpersonally, which is equally as important. However, though, I do feel, you know, we're still feeling each other out. Not just you, like, right. Not that there's anything weird, but, you know, it's new to the band, new to us interpersonally. Though I do think, Dane, I have a unique perspective in that you joined the band in a similar way that I joined the band.
Is that right?
I didn't know anybody. I'd never met Andy
right.
when I was brought into the band. I'd only met Joe. In fact, you have a little more. I didn't even know a single Combichrist song.
Is that right? Wow.
So you're kind of coming into a fresh environment. So I've attempted to try to just be conscious of that and be helpful where I can, or be understanding that
right.
This is a new environment. And I can say that he's been great in understanding of everybody's little quirks, and stepping into a situation where there's an established kind of social interaction is a challenge. But you know what? He's a grown man. He's a cool guy. I think he's doing great.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So, and some of you guys have met him already. Okay, so here's Mike. And there's Becca. So many of you have met Dane in person already,
awesome.
who are
What's
watching.
Up,
but let's get right into the questions, if I may. But thanks everybody for tuning in. I know it's a little late and last minute, but I'm going to start with our first question, which was asked by Trinity. And she says, why did you start drumming? It's two-part. Any inspirations?
Why did I start drumming? That's a good question. I think it started early on, probably about, I think, high school. I was always a fan of like rock and metal stuff, but I didn't start getting into drums until I think it was actually Metallica's Injustice record. And everyone kind of hates that because of the bass, but
I love that album.
Well, yeah, but there's some killer drum tracks for sure, and especially in Lars Ulrich's kick tones, and like there's some really good drum sounds that it really kind of got me hooked on. Like, ooh, that'd be cool to play. So And I just kind of got interested in drums from there. But believe it or not, I learned basic beats from Remember the Game Rock Band.
Mm-hmm.
I learned, my little, just by playing that game. And eventually I got a kit for Christmas and just kind of kept playing to my iPod, just the different music to from Slipknot to Lamb of God. I'm a huge Korn fan, played a lot of those songs, and just kind of kept going from there. And then got into bands, and here we are.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. And you've mentioned one of your favorites is Korn and Slipknot.
Two big favorites.
Two big favorites. I'm a fan of both of those bands.
Mm-hmm.
Though I was later to the Korn and Slipknot party. I remember seeing Korn at Woodstock 99.
Wow.
I attended
Historic.
Woodstock 99, and Korn. I was not into Korn. That was the Korn heyday. And they were just exploding.
Right.
And I hadn't clicked for me yet. And then I saw them live, and I was like, this is pretty cool. But I saw them last summer, and Dane and I mentioned this to Dane. I saw them in Switzerland, might have been 2 years ago, and they were one of the best bands.
For sure.
Korn is the shit.
I was late to it as well. Actually, I got into Slipknot first. The first band I ever heard was Slipknot, and then years later, I kind of got into Korn when I saw them live too. So that's how it won me over. So.
There we go. Look at that. Already learned something new. All right, let's move right down the list. Christian Lees, Christian we also met on tour. He was at the New Orleans show, one of our newer Patreon members.
Awesome.
He says, I believe this upcoming European tour with Combichrist will be your first time overseas. Mm-hmm. What country or region are you most excited about visiting?
There's two that I can think right off the bat. Number one, Germany. I've always wanted to go to Germany. I'm a huge Rammstein fan, obviously. Studied it in school, all that stuff. But also, I'm looking forward to Finland and Helsinki. That area, I'm a big hymn fan. All the my goodness. All the Finnish rock bands that are over there. Hymn, 69 Eyes, Poison Black. People like that. But it's a cool kind of weird Viking area. It seems like, and a lot of cool music too. So I'm looking forward to that area.
Yeah, we haven't been to Finland in a couple tours, so I'm excited about Helsinki. Yeah. And we're playing in Tampere, which you guys will remember. Ika, the bass player of the Whiskey Band and Cowboys, is from Tampere, and only a few will remember my first tour with Crisby. We played 2 shows in Tampere as my acoustic country band.
Is that right?
And I always like going there. I love it. So there you go. Oh, wait a minute. And we have one. It was a 2-part question, which was any sightseeing plans while on break. Not that we'll have much, but
the only thing I definitely want to see in Europe is Dracula's Castle. I'm a big horror fan, so that's in Romania, right? I think is where
that's in Romania.
Yeah, so that's like the only really big thing that I want to see. But other than that, I'm sure I'll just be like wide eyed the entire time looking at all the basic stuff you'd see in the cities, anyways. So yeah.
Cool. What do we got here? Oh, we got Kelly's watching. Hi there. My roommate is watching back.
Oh.
Hello to Ramona. That's my cat. We have a question here from Arizona, from Misty Young, who you've also met at the Mesa show. And Misty says, what other things do you like to do when you are not touring?
I'm a big fitness fan. I love working out, so I'm always in the gym pretty much 5-6 days a week. I love hanging out with friends. I love drinking wine. My girlfriend and I go out to Wine Walk a lot in Orlando, which is a lot of fun. Being in Orlando too, you can't not go to theme parks all the time. So I love going to Disney. I love going to Universal. I mean, I work there too, so it makes it easy to go see friends or whatever. But pretty much that. I go to the beach every now and then, but it's a pretty cool community when I'm home. So I miss it, and I'm looking forward to going back and doing some day-to-day stuff that's not playing music, which I love, ultimately. But it's also a cool place to come home to. So
nice. Yeah, I look forward to being home. I always say when I'm on the road, the 2 things I miss most are the gym and the grocery store.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah.
We gotta get about both of those on tour, I'd say, though.
Yeah, well, we go to the gym every day. For me, it's a little different. This injury I just
Right,
has been, and these guys know the story, has really changed my whole life, and it's been a bummer because I always look forward to off tour to work off the tour beer and stuff.
Right.
And for the first time after the last tour, I was actually in a great fitness spot, and then this injury, and it's been taking all my mental capacity to not get depressed about it.
Yeah,
but we're doing all right.
Yeah.
You know what? enough about that. Let's see what we got. Will this also be your first time coming to South America? Asks Cami.
Definitely, yes.
She is in Argentina.
Ooh, just looking forward to Argentina. Pretty cool.
And then Becky asks, what did you do at Disney? You're working at Disney? At Disney?
It's a ticklish question of what I can and cannot say, but I work somewhere in that area doing music, and I guess you'd have to just come there and see to know exactly what I do.
Okay.
But, and if you're on my
disclosure,
it's a very weird situation of how you can say things. It's kind of the verbiage has to be just right.
Okay.
I will say if you follow my Instagram, you kind of already know what I do there, but or what someone that looks like me does there. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things. But I play music.
Okay.
Ultimately.
All right. You guys are gonna have to do a little extra research. We're not giving it all away here in the interview. All right, we're gonna move down here, and Krista asks, since we know you love going to Disney, what is your favorite Disney movie?
Oh, that's a good one. See, she knows. She did the research. Favorite Disney movie. If I had to go animated, I would say Pocahontas, actually.
Oh.
Pocahontas. I think it's a good story, and I also like the score. One of the best musical scores of that, that genre. So.
Wow. Okay, Pocahontas. Mine, for the record, is Lion King.
That's my second favorite, I would say. Also great music.
Yeah, and I saw it on Broadway.
Ooh, me
and
too.
It was amazing. And then I drove up with my grandmother in the car. She's like, "Oh, honey, wait till you see it." She's like, "The actors just disappear." She said it like 3 times. I'm like, "All right, Grandma, we got there." And I remember going, "Whoa." It totally happens.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It really is. It's an incredible show.
What do you think about the new live-action Lion King? I haven't seen it.
Is it live action though?
Where did they get all these animal actors?
Right. Yeah. That's.
Do they all have SAG cards?
Exactly. Yeah. That's a good question.
There's a lot of questions here.
But it'll be good, I'm sure. I think it's a scene-for-scene version of the original one, but more high def, and that's about it.
Who's watching? What's your favorite? Everybody who's watching, tell me what your favorite Disney movie. All right, Kelly says Lion King also.
A lot of Lion King fans.
Lion King. Up. And Nikki, your question is Disney related too. Is it in the list, or are you going to say it here? If you want to ask it here, I'm going back and forth. So as you know, I always have my computer just off screen, and I'm referring to the original Patreon post for the questions. Mad Max, I don't think that's a Disney movie.
It could be. They own everything.
Perhaps. I think we're referring to classic Disney.
Right, yeah.
Aladdin, okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
We could remake too, maybe.
Yeah, I haven't seen with Will Smith's one. All right, let's go down here. So we're going to move on from New Mexico. Angela, who actually saw you perform in Albuquerque, and she actually showed up at the Los Angeles show.
Really?
I was walking out, and then I bumped into her wearing her green Rune Army shirt, a very rare green Rune shirt. Does anybody out there have the green Rune shirt? Angela asks, if it were possible to hang out for a day with an artist, musical or otherwise, who has passed away, who would it be and why?
Ooh, man.
Who would it be and why?
Who and why? I think I have 2, if that's allowed.
You know what? I'm going to wait. Judges?
Yeah. Okay. We getting the okay?
Choose
right,
okay.
Sweet.
Choose okay.
I would go with Michael Jackson or Prince, in that they were both in the stratosphere of superstardom musically and even in their personal lives. So I would just really be curious to see how they handled that, what their creativity was like, and really, I think some of the best songs came out of those 2 dudes in the past 30, 40 years. So like, it would be really cool to sit down with one of them and
superstars, no doubt.
Yeah,
in an echelon reserved for, a very few people.
Mm-hmm.
Prince, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder.
Right. Well, he's alive still.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying in that level,
well, right? Yeah,
the David Bowies of the world.
Sure.
You get single digits of genius.
And thankfully, a lot of people that I admire are still alive, which is cool.
Yeah.
But if I could, pick people that are not here anymore, I'd probably pick those 2.
Okay, so that's a good answer. Then I would ask a potential controversial question is, I'm a Michael Jackson fan, musical fan. Love his work, as well as I saw the movie that came out.
This Is It?
This Is It.
Yeah.
I recently watched it, and I was blown away by how amazing that movie was. So the difficult thing is this new movie, the Leaving Neverland.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I have not. I've heard about it, but I've not seen it.
And how does it make you feel?
I don't think he did it. I don't. He was an interesting dude, you know. He made some weird choices, but I don't think...
definitely kooky.
Yeah, but how could you not at that level, too, of, you know, like, he was basically born into that. Like, he didn't really have a proper life that, you know, most of us have. So definitely, you know, he's a weird cat, but I don't think he is an evil dude. And I don't think he, you know, necessarily wants to hurt anybody or did anything, you know, malicious. So I think a lot of things can get taken out of hand in that sort of context. And not to say that doesn't happen, because it obviously is in Hollywood and stuff like that right now. But in that case, I don't think he did it.
Yeah.
So I admire him still, you know, with or without the allegations. So you know,
yeah, I watched
that's
a little.
what I think.
It's highly disturbing.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna scroll back because I've been seeing a lot of stuff coming through, and I wanna acknowledge everybody here. Andrea says she's looking forward to meeting you in Hamburg.
Ooh, Hamburg.
Let's see. Lion King got another vote.
Of course.
Lion King. What type of wine do you like? And we'll keep it in mind.
Ooh.
I like lots of wines. I like
all the wine.
If it were red, I like. Well, tonight we're having a Malbec. Right now, basically, my friend here gave me a box of 6 or 7 bottles of wine. I chose the Malbec. I like a Bordeaux. I like a really heavy wine that you almost have to, you have to chew on it. Or I like a very light wine, like you guys know I like the French wine Puy-Frisé, which is an expensive but very tasty white wine. How about you?
I like a lot of it as well. I'm a big fan of the reds. I love Cabernet. I love a lot of red blends, but I also really dig port, the dessert wine.
Really?
I wasn't really into the sweet stuff, but I like that it's a little bit stronger. And it's just that it's so good after a nice meal of for dessert, and it kind of helps you. Like I was kicking back and watching like a scary movie and big old bottle of port.
Big old bottle of port.
It feels good. Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Oh, Mike. So I'm going to acknowledge your question since you've asked it 4 times. What's in the flask when you play?
What's in the flask? It's always vodka, hands down.
Always vodka.
That's my poison. Yeah.
Okay. Said, did you enjoy the Moscato that she gave you?
Moscato is not my thing necessarily, but it did get drank. I want to say last night.
That's not my bag.
That's not my bag, baby. But I appreciate all the stuff anyways, and it was definitely put to good use. So thank you.
All right. Yeah. And actually, I just see both Krista and Misty just logged on. We just answered your question, so you're gonna have to watch the replay.
Oh.
But let's see, were they quick? His favorite Disney movie. Wait, what was it? Pocahontas. And I saw a vote for Mulan in there too.
That was a good one too.
Yeah. Okay. So that was Angela's question. Thank you. Okay, so we're moving on here, and Emma has a question, and she says, it's kind of half a statement, but it says, I'm guessing drumming for Combichrist is your best job ever. She's guessing that. What is the worst?
Oh man, that's a great question. Yes, you're right. This has been the best gig ever so far with Combichrist. I've wanted to do this forever. That being said, I was dreaming about gigs like this when I was working in shitty places. Can I say shitty? Okay. I all my jobs were bad because I always wanted to do this. So I worked at Five Guys for a long time. I worked at Hollister. It was fun though. It was the kids that were my age, and that was all right. But I think the worst one ever I worked in, and no disrespect to the people that that own it and all that kind of stuff. It was just the fact that it was kind of grueling work, and I was in a very bad place mentally. I worked in a granite and cabinet warehouse for about 2 or 3 years in the Arizona heat. And it was brutal, man. I was playing in bands and kind of touring, but I didn't think I was going anywhere, and it was really kind of a dark period of time I went through there. But it's cool to see, that I had that vision. I was sitting here with this dude right now, not figuratively, of course, and being on tour even back then, and and here we are past all that. So it's kind of a cool testament to persistence, I would say.
One thing that's interesting too that I saw. So we played in Los Angeles the other night. It was a really I had mentioned this to you privately and to Will and also to our management that I believe that this was the defining moment for the new band. Now, so on this tour, it's actually been amazing how much Rune Army interaction there has been from the very first day. So in San Diego, Alejandra was there. She's watching. Then we went to Mesa and we saw Misty and Nikki. Then we went to Albuquerque, and so of the 25 shows, I'd say maybe there's only 5 where there hasn't been someone Rune Army. And I'm getting a little off track here, but so you've seen the band. That was my point. The point is you've seen the band. I've been very proud of what the band has been doing, but I believe that LA was the show where the true stamp of this band. Mm-hmm. Now, I was also feeling the pressure a little bit more because I know what it's like there. The backstage, if you saw the photos, celebrities, musical peers, for lack of a better word, famous people, and that wasn't even the biggest one, mm-hmm. And there's, Bill Moseley for you horror fans. Bill Moseley awesome. Standing next to, Meigs from Cold Chamber, next to Nadia, standing next to Dean Carr, famous video director. He's shot all the cover art for Marilyn Manson. I mean, these are, serious artists.
Big names, yeah.
And I wanted to have a great environment backstage. I wanted to have our best show, and I do. I feel it was our best show, and everything kind of came together. And what I was leading to is Dane had a friend there, and right. She had commented on a photo with you that it was so great to see Dane in this band, and it manifest. So that whole background was leading all up to that post.
Yeah, I love that.
That I think it's interesting that you had seen Combichrist, and now you're in the band.
And it was funny.
You're not only in the band, you're representing the band, you're in photos, you're in press. The Kerrang! Magazine has a picture of us on the cover.
Right.
And, I find that cool.
That's amazing, yeah. And it was even more cool, I thought, was that LA show was literally 8 years to the day of the first time I ever saw Combichrist.
Wow.
I thought that was like, what are the odds of that?
Prophetic.
Seriously, yeah.
Prophetic.
Big manifestation,
yeah,
for sure.
And Mike pointed out, Nightclub was there. Absolutely.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Absolutely.
They were great.
And Dane finally got to meet Nightclub.
I have. I dig their stuff. I'm super into it.
Mike also has a Nightclub tattoo. I know. It's my Nightclub tattoo right here.
Oh, cool. I like that.
Mike also has a Rune Army tattoo. Mike has my face tattooed on his arm, so...
I've seen it.
Yeah, right? All right, we're going to move on.
Perfect.
And we have a question from Jordan in Scotland.
Ooh.
And this looks like an 8-part question.
Okay.
How did you get the gig in Combichrist, and what was the first thing you did when you learned you had the job?
Okay, we'll start with the tip of the iceberg, I guess, then. How to get the gig for Combichrist?
You know what? I am curious. I actually don't know the official answer.
Do you?
Myself, and I'm in the fucking
So, how it happened, like I said, I've been a fan of the band for years, and literally I was hanging out at work one day, scrolling through Instagram, as we all kind of do, and I follow Joe Letts. He's a big inspiration to me, someone I really admire in the drum world, and I see he's posting this departure post, he's like, I'm leaving Combichrist. I'm like, whoa, like, that's insane, like, I never thought that would ever happen. But at the same time, I was kind of like, I wonder if they're, if they're doing something with that, or what they're going to do next. So it was as simple as sending an email. I reached out to their management, and the band itself is kind of, some of the info is kind of hidden in plain sight. And I just said, hey, I'm a big fan of the band, I'm a big fan of Joe and what he did, and if I'd love to audition if you would have me. And surprisingly, Dez and Andy got back to me within like a couple of hours, and I was like, whoa, like they're emailing me, like this is crazy. And they said basically like, not now, but we'll keep you in mind. And then so I kind of just let it go. I was like, well, that's cool. I have a contact. Maybe we'll hang out when they come to Tampa, and I can kind of go from there. And then literally a few weeks later, I'm just getting ready for work one day, and I get a text from Andy saying, hey, so we're going to have auditions, and I want you to do it. Learn these songs and send me a video. And I was like, okay. I was like, so very, very quick turnaround of how that came about. But then, yeah, sent those videos in and answered a few questions, and here we are.
Well, then, okay, so now I can put some perspective on this, because that's kind of what I thought, but then I was like, maybe I don't remember, because me and like when we're off tour, I'm super busy. I'm like engrossed in Patreon, and I don't. Combichrist doesn't have my focus when I'm not on tour.
Right.
And Andy and I talk like we're not always talking, but he wrote me about you actually, so I'll give you the other side so you can get some perspective. And so there was a few candidates.
I heard.
So first we were talking about Will because actually it's two parts. I'm going to give you the true behind the scenes.
Okay.
So Joe left, and we're like, great. Who are we going to get? And we thought about Will, of course, first. And I talked to Nick. So Nick was still in the band at that point.
Right.
And then Nick calls me, and he's like, Eric, I got to be honest. I'm not going to tell Nick's whole personal story, but he's like, look, I can't do this tour.
Right.
And I said, Nick, I love you. As you guys know, Nick's one of my best friends. I love him. For the record, he was there at the show.
It's a cool dude.
Everything's cool with Nick. Nothing weird. But then Andy and I got on the phone. I called him immediately. I'm like, well, oh, fuck, now we got two shoes to fill. And he says, all right, well, there's a couple people. And there's this guy that reached out in Florida. He's like, I want you to look this guy up.
Interesting.
And
wow.
I actually went to Dane's Instagram. And I texted Andy and I said, hey, he's handsome and fit. I said, he's handsome and fit. Let's hire him. And he's like, and we laughed about it. He said, I'm having to make some videos. And then another actually famous drummer entered at the last minute.
I heard about that, yeah.
And was like, oh, this would be fucking great, you know, like he's going to bring a whole group of fans with him, you know, there'll be some street cred, we won't have to worry about hearing this Joe like, oh, you're losing Joe, this whole thing, right. And that guy looked like he had the job. Mm-hmm. And then, speaking of the devil, we have an interview crasher here coming in. And then, I get a text from Andy. He's like, I think this Dane guy is the guy, man. I said, do it. I said, send him a message. Let's do it. And wrote me back. He says, I just wrote him. He's in.
That's insane,
yeah.
Dude. And I was walking in Target, looking at that phone going, oh my god, dude. Like, he's like, you're in. You ready? I'm like, oh, fuck. Here we go, man. Yeah, so that was a really cool day.
Yeah, so, and it was a little scary. In fact, I'll tell you, I might have mentioned this, is that just a couple days ago, or it might have been a week, I looked at the photo that we took backstage in San Diego before the first show. And if you look at that picture, it's so different than if you look at us now. You look at this picture I posted on Instagram yesterday, and it's like, that's Combichrist.
Night and day, man.
And it looks like a band. And in San Diego, it looked like four dudes like, all right, this is going to be an adventure right here. Let's, you know, fingers crossed right now, knock on wood, because it's about to go down in about 5 minutes. So that's
seriously,
that's where I started. So, all right, we're going to go to part question. Actually, before we do that, we have a surprise guest. Maybe he'll come on camera for a second. Come on in here.
You're
doing a live interview. I'm interviewing Dane live.
With who?
On
the
Instagram.
People.
Just private, just my Patreon. Ladies and gentlemen. You've been asking, and here he is. It's the one.
What?
You know, they're asking, because I said, who should be the next interview after Dane? And they said, Andy. I said, no. He's doing too many interviews. He won't do it.
Yeah, fuck you.
He's like,
I love
anybody
you.
got time for that? Oh.
Yeah, but they're learning all about Dane. I'm learning about Dane.
I don't know. I'll answer some questions right now.
Yeah, he's gonna. You have a question for Andy? Actually, tell him. We were just telling the story how Dane got the job. What did you think when you decided to bring Dane into the band?
I'm actually really drunk.
You don't have to answer that. It's not gonna be truthful.
And the question was, no. We were down to quite a few people actually, and we were going through the videos. Everybody was auditioning. Everybody submitted the videos, and it just felt fucking right. It was like, this is the dude. It's like, in the end, that was it. I was down to, it was like 10 people, down to 5 people, down to, it was between 2 people in the end. And I'm like, there's no doubt. Like, in the end, it wasn't even juggling it too hard. It was like, that was it.
That's amazing to hear. Seriously.
That was it.
And almost everybody that's watching has seen Dane perform, and it does. It seems so right now.
That's great. I love that. Yeah.
No, this is Combichrist.
For real, it feels great, man.
It's like it's whoever's around me, and right now this is Combichrist. That's it.
Love it.
Cheers to
to
that.
Absolutely.
Cheers to that.
I gotta
Cheers.
go back to the bar, so
Go back to the bar. Enjoy
All
yourself.
right.
I just came to take a piss.
Andy, everybody. Hey.
Hey, you going to the bar?
You know, I'm gonna text you when we're done. I still gotta watch Game of Thrones too. Even
Maybe
he's
afterwards.
I'm now.
Spoilers. Spoilers.
Get out of here.
Everybody put spoilers on right
La
now.
la 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 la.
Everybody put
la,
spoilers
la, la,
right
la.
now.
All right.
They wouldn't be me.
Wait, Greg's texting. Wait,
no,
you need
no,
Andy? You need Andy outside ASAP?
I've seen it.
Andy,
Put the spoilers on right now.
Oh my God.
Greg, wait, what? There's a policeman out there? Yep, Greg, he's coming. All right.
Oh goodness.
We have a question. All right, we're getting back to the questions
All right,
now.
so part
Thank you,
2
Andy,
of-
for making his cameo here. Is Jordan in Scotland? Part 2.
Jordan!
God damn.
And this is interesting. Did you feel any pressure replacing Joe?
Absolutely, but at the same time, I kind of knew what I wanted to bring, you know, in my own way, and not really trying to, of course, paying respect. And like I said before, Joe is a huge influence of mine in life, so kind of paying respect and homage to what he did, but also bringing my own flair to it. And I think I even told Andy in my email, he's like, "What do you think you'd bring to the band?" I'm like, "Well, I think I'd bring some of the same power and intensity I loved, but with a little bit more musicality, and for lack of a better term, I said, and after it sounded like a bit cocky, some sex appeal."
Yeah.
So, and I was like, "That's what I can do," and you know.
I was about to call you out on that.
Hey, but I was like, you know, it is what it is. That's what I can bring. So, yeah, some pressure, but a lot more confidence had to go in there too, for sure.
Awesome. All right, we're going to move on. We have a question from Germany. Actually, here come the questions from Germany. And first is from Julia. And she says, "What's your favorite band?"
Combichrist!
That I'm not playing for?
Nah, it's Motley Crue.
Ooh, it's close. It's not. I love Motley Crue, but it's Slipknot. Hands down, favorite band of all time is Slipknot.
That is not close to Motley Crue at all.
In that, I like them both a lot. It's like not the same style, but
All right, so just a 3-part question.
Okay.
Is, do you feel comfortable with your new bandmates and crew? Don't feel pressure because we're both here. No, you can be.
No, I do, honestly. I'm quite comfortable, in fact, and I'm surprised how quickly I became comfortable. There's always a bit of, awkwardness at first whenever you meet new people and kind of get together, but I was surprised how kind of conscientious everyone was at everyone's space and everyone's kind of quirks. Like, you got 9 guys on a bus, of a big sardine can. You're gonna figure out what people are like and what they like and don't like. So I was quite surprised actually how cool everyone was and how consistently cool everyone was. No one really goes off the handle or blows up like you think they would sometimes. But yeah,
This is a very tame bus, this tour.
Yeah,
Also.
I like
but
it,
that's
yeah.
the key for me too. It's
Yeah.
that's the word. Conscientious bus is the best,
Definitely.
and it's like it makes a world of difference. It makes a world of difference. All right. Oh, she has a 3rd part. What food do you like?
Ooh,
Well, I'm gonna cut in here, and I've said
Okay.
this before.
Okay.
For a guy as fit as Dane, I've never seen anyone eat as much as this dude.
which is funny because I hate eating. I don't like to eat, but
Full of
I
shit.
need to.
Every time I walk on the bus, Dane is eating, and he's not eating like, oh, okay, let me have an apple and a banana. He orders McDonald's like 4 times a week. He's got
Only at 2 a.m.
He's got
Only at 2 a.m.
Panda Express delivered to the bus.
Can I cut in on this?
He's got Panda Express
Can I cut in
delivered.
on this? Because it's all about age.
Is it
Because
though?
I don't know, because
Is
I
it
don't
though?
eat.
At all?
Barely. Like
I see you put it away, dude.
Yeah, I barely eat at all, and I still stack it on.
I think you drink your calories though. That's the other thing.
I wouldn't say it's bad, but he just eats a lot.
Right, yeah.
He does eat a lot. He does eat a lot.
To answer the question on favorite food, I love Thai and Italian food. One of those 2.
Okay. All right. Hey. She was from Germany. Maybe perhaps someone will bring
Just
a
like
schnitzel.
Italians.
Maybe
That'd be
someone
cool,
will bring
yeah.
a schnitzel for Dane to try.
I
They know
just
my
like
love of schnitzel.
Italians.
Okay.
I eat some Italians.
Okay. We have another question coming from Munich. Coming
Munich,
from
okay.
Munich. This is my friend Christoph. This is a long question here.
Okay.
It's great to have the opportunity to learn more about both Combichrist drummers. My questions. On a platform, Dane characterizes himself as, and I quote, your friendly neighborhood rock star. What do you mean by that?
That's something I just kind of thought of one day. Like, that's kind of fun and cute. I'm going to use that. I mean, I think what it comes down to is, again, with that manifestation, I believe that you are kind of what you believe you are. And before I was doing this, even back in my Hollister days, I was still a fucking rock star, dude. So, you know, even if in my own mind. So it's sort of a mentality I just kind of kept of something that I wanted to be and how I wanted to carry myself. And then now kind of being at a slightly higher level, you know, being on tour, you know, in a big band, I think it kind of comes with the territory of like, yeah, like now I kind of have some cred to that, but I'm still your neighborhood dude, and I'll hang out with anybody and be cool. So
yeah, no one's going to accuse Dane of being arrogant or
yeah. So it's like I'll totally be chill and cool with anybody. So I think it is something that kind of marries well together. Those two points there.
Yeah,
And I back that.
Thank you.
Christoph follows that up. Here's
approves.
interesting.
I just did mushrooms.
No way. I
The
would
magic-
have never guessed that.
The magic ones. The magic ones. You would have backed
How are they
that.
doing? I mean, ooh, yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. I might have to go to
Seeing
the bus.
dragons over here.
All right, so here's Christoph's next question. You're going to like this
Okay.
one. Christoph says, Dane likes to pose in Chippendale style and shows his six-pack.
Mhm.
How important is appearance and fitness for success as a musician?
Personally, I think it's everything. I mean, of course, you have to have talent. You got to be able to play your instrument and do your thing. But this is a very much a look at me business. I don't care, you know, what you're doing with it, whether you're acting or you're singing or playing instruments or dancing or whatever. You have to something has to be appealing about you, and it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be fit. You can be, you know, a bigger person, but you have a sort of swagger about you that makes you, you know, attractive. But I think definitely it's a very, very visual type of business, especially in music and with drumming as active as it is. For me, that's quite important.
Which is controversial
Right.
these days.
Yeah.
Body positive, like, you know, I support body positive.
Absolutely, yeah.
Whether, you know, when it comes down to any of those controversial topics, sexuality, race, things like that, I think one thing this band stands for equality in all those fronts.
Right.
But visual is definitely another hot button issue these
For
days.
sure, yeah.
But and it's tricky because you want to support everybody, and you don't want to. I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Make anybody feel bad about their
Of
type
course.
of image, but
No, yeah.
But the reality of the music business is a harsh reality. if you
Well,
will.
and the thing is too, it's a mentality. If you're rocking your stuff the way you are and you own it and you feel good in your own skin, that's it. That makes you attractive, you know. And that's all very opinion based too. But you know, we also live in a very surface world. So, you know, I think if you spend some time, you'll figure out as a little bit, you know, deeper things in what's going on right here. But at the same time, this will catch some eyes too and make people pay attention. So it's kind of a, you know, a two-headed coin there for sure.
For sure. All right, last question from Christoph is, with Combichrist you're a drummer, but he's heard you sing and play e-piano. What other instruments do you play, and what does singing
Saxophone.
and singing, and what does it mean to you?
What other instruments do I play in singing?
Yeah, it's what do the different instruments and singing mean to you?
Oh, I think it's very important to be well versed, man. But to answer your question, yeah, drums, guitar, piano, saxophone, and I sing. That's like 5 things. I love singing. I sing all the time. I sing in my own band still too, Cyber Scream. Obviously, Corey Taylor is like a big influence of mine. A lot of other really, you know, big rock personality kind of type singers. But I've always kind of liked music altogether, no matter what I'm playing. And I've always enjoyed kind of figuring out an instrument. I remember my grandma early on when I was a kid, saw me kind of messing around on a little electric piano. I was like 2 or 3, and she told my mom, she's like, he's gonna be good at whatever instrument he plays at, and that's always kind of stuck with me. even if I had to, kind of work hard to learn something about an instrument, it's always come very naturally to me. And it really helps, I think, in my writing too, with being creative with compositions and stuff like that. It's good to know more than just one thing. Maybe, writing guitar riffs with a drummer's mind and vice versa and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's very important to me.
Cool. Oh, we got another Disney question. This one coming from Nikki. What's your favorite ride at Disney World? And have you been to Disneyland?
I have several times to both. Favorite ride though, I call it the Big Old Ball, but it's the Epcot, the big spaceship Earth.
Is it a ride?
It is. It's a really, really old school ride. It's like a little gondola type thing you sit in, but it takes you through all of human history. And you start from like the beginning of time to learning about the Phoenicians and.
I've never seen this.
Oh, this is great.
Wait, which one's which? Disney World is Florida, and
Disney World
Disneyland
Florida,
is
yeah.
Cali.
It's technically Epcot in Florida.
Okay.
So, but I love going there and getting getting drunk and hammered and going on that ride. I'm like, this is so inspiring, and I always feel like I can conquer the world after I ride that thing. So.
What's your favorite ride? What's everybody else's favorite ride at Disney World? Mine was Space Mountain, but when they turned it into the Star Wars one.
That was cool. I remember that. And if not that one, I would say Haunted Mansion. For sure.
Haunted Mansion, classic. All right, moving on. We have a question from France. This one comes from May, and we're going to change gears a little bit. Okay. This one, did your bondage stage outfit used to be used for something other than a stage outfit? Ooh.
Wouldn't you like to know?
Oh, getting a little cheeky here.
That's a hard maybe.
Okay.
That is a hard maybe. I'm gonna leave it at that. I think.
How hard?
How hard? He said. Like quarter chub maybe.
Yeah. Oh man. Just the second question. Before you started the tour with Combichrist, did you have any fears or expectations that happened to be true or not? That's a good question.
A couple, yeah. The main one I can think of is that, and I was expecting this too, to kind of walk in, especially with our kind of VIP meet and greets, and have people kind of go like, who the hell are you? Where's Joe? And that's happened a couple times, honestly, and I've felt that, and it's, I get it. I'm the same way. Like whenever I see a band, I want to see the people that I know and love, and I've always known. But so coming in, I was a little worried about that. And it like I said, it has happened, but overall the response has been pretty cool, and like the people have been very welcoming that I have met so far at VIP, and the people that haven't, it's given me fire to put on an even better show. So it's kind of one of those things. But yeah, I think that's probably the main thing I was apprehensive of.
To be expected.
Of course, yeah, coming in anything like that, yeah.
I hate that question. I hate that. Personally, I'll just be honest about it. And publicly, and I actually consider this a private interview, so this is not the Combichrist Instagram. This is not even the Eric13,000.
Right.
Is that, look, I don't want to diss Joe, and he's a long time friend. I said the same thing. I wouldn't be in Combichrist without Joe, period. Andy didn't know who I was. We had never met. Joe put his name on the line. He vouched for me, and that's how we got in the band. Mm-hmm. He's an important member of the band, but I do think, actually I know it was time for a change anyway. So I knew it was coming too, and I'm totally sick of people asking me about Joe that I can't restrain myself anymore. People say like, "Oh, do you miss Joe?" And I say, "Not at all." But I don't mean it maliciously, but I don't miss him at all. He's doing his own thing. In fact, let's leave Joe out of it. Did you grow up in Florida? Asks Mike.
No.
Mike, you already know the answer to this. Mike, you know the answer to this.
I think he just wants to help everyone else know the answer to it. But no, I did not grow up in Florida. I grew up in Gilbert, Arizona, actually. For about 22 years, and then moved out to Florida at the end of 2015. I've been there ever since. I love it. That's home now.
All right. That is home. All right, moving down. Missy Moore has a question.
Hey, Missy.
When you were a little kid, say kindergarten age, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, man. At that age, I had a couple different things. It was always very obscure things. I think I wanted to be either a dirt bike rider or a movie director. One of those two things were both like kind of big to me. I was a big fan of motocross, and I was a big fan of making movies. And I didn't get into that too much later, but probably one of those two were my first like career choices that I liked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I still love film too. I mean, this guy calls me Siskel and Ebert with
I
Will.
have a nickname for Will and Dane. I call them Siskel and Ebert because they're always watching movies and they know a lot about movies. They get the quotes. You can pull out a quote. Though, what was the one that Will missed? They
Hunt for Red
both
October.
need to watch Hunt for Red October, classic
film.
But that
Big
was more
film.
Will. That was more both of you guys. But they know their heart.
Yes,
Siskel
for sure.
and Ebert.
Or
That's what
any
I-
day. Yeah.
That's what I call Dane.
Can I quote today's Game of Thrones?
No, you can't go to
Get out of here. All right, we're moving on. Thank you, Missy, for that question. Christy asks, would you be willing to tell us about any crazy, unexpected, behind-the-scenes stories from the tour that we might find interesting?
I have one. Yeah, I think
Oh.
the funniest one I can think of off the top of my head. And this is in the secrecy of
Yeah.
the Rune Army.
You know the rule. What happens on the tour bus stays on the tour bus.
And it wasn't on the tour bus,
Okay.
luckily. But we were in Kentucky, and Andy was off doing his gig, DJing. I think you were with him.
Yeah.
But some of the other guys,
Oh my
it was an awesome venue that we were at. And it was like, I'm like I said, a huge horror fan. So I'm out there ghost hunting and shit, looking for ghosts in this big old time mansion. What the venue was. And the security guard there is like, yo, I'm going to go downtown afterwards. If you guys want to go with you, or if you guys want to come with, I'll get you free cover wherever we go. He's like, we know some strip clubs. Just you can come with us. And we're like, all right, well, why not? So we go there, and it's me, Will, Chris, and Steve. And I see why
What
it
a
was...
crew. What a crew.
A motley crew. I see why it was free now. And all I'm going to say is, if you remember the episode of Fresh Prince where Chris Rock is in drag, he's like in the dress, that chick was all over Will and like hey daddy, and like it was nasty. And it was a fun experience. I wouldn't say fun, it was an experience and I'll never forget it, but it was definitely an interesting moment of like, wow, this is weird and we're on tour.
She had another question which she kind of answers. She says, do you feel Combichrist fans have been welcoming to you?
Absolutely, yeah. And the majority
100%.
Yeah.
And she also adds, I thought you were awesome and very nice, by the way.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying
Thanks
so.
from Christy. So moving on. Oh, Tim Moore.
Hey, Tim.
Tim, whose reputation precedes him. Not Timmy. Not Timmy, but Tim.
Tim.
Drums are notoriously loud and noisy to people who don't understand the drums. When you first started out, how were you able to learn without disturbing the neighbors?
I didn't. And they're still pissed about that. They still give my parents grief for that every day. And not in a bad way, but, I had my headphones. I was good. So, I was in my garage jamming, and they had to deal with it outside. So that was fine. But it was a noisy couple of years, for sure. Especially early on, I'm sure I was terrible, blasting away in there in the garage. But when I got, into more serious bands, I ended up getting, a proper rehearsal studio and that kind of thing, so it made it easier to practice in a more sound-controlled space. But yeah, early on, it was a loud couple of years for sure.
That's funny. We have some new questions from Mexico.
Mexico.
From Mexico. Favorite book?
The Shining.
Oh,
If we're gonna fiction, or Thick and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill.
Oh, okay. She's not quick. This is a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Mad Max or The Purge? Now we're back to that.
The Purge.
The Purge. No way. Mad Max.
Oh,
Come on, man.
Purge, man.
Come
Oh,
on.
The Purge.
All right.
Ooh,
And we have our
such a creepy
last
concept.
question from Patreon, and then we're going to open the floor here.
Okay.
Talk or describe about the feeling when you see the audience getting crazy with what you do.
It's such a give and take relationship for me, anyway. I always go out like the first 2-3 songs like 100%, kind of like laser focused on what I'm doing, and of course like I'm going hard, but like I don't really look out at first until maybe a few songs in, and once I see that it's kind of like, whoa, it's happening, it's working. You can feel it kind of build up, and from that point on, it totally feeds my energy of what I'm doing, and I can see if people are digging it, I can go even harder. So, and I think the cool thing is too that they can tell when I'm really digging it too. Like the set is killer this time. I mean, most of you guys have seen it, but when Can't Control comes, dude, like I slam that song. You can tell. I always give about like 20% more than I usually do, which is always high, but that's when I really kind of go in on. So. And I think
Do you have a
can tell
favorite
that too.
song to play?
That one for sure. Can't Control and Follow the Trail.
Follow the Trail is definitely strong on this, because that was not one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Previously, it wasn't one of my favorites. The set is strong.
Definitely.
You know, the set is strong. You know, it was well chosen.
I had a hand in there, I think, maybe two. He was all like, "What do you want to play?" I'm like, "Oh, I've got a list for you, dude."
Yeah,
Yes.
but it is a good set list.
It is, yeah. But Can't Control for sure. And
It's a classic.
Follow the Trail, yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic. It's funny because Can't Control wasn't originally in it because I thought
No,
it needed
yeah.
a break. It needed a break. We've been played it every tour that
Mhm.
I've been in the band. I love the song, particularly it's a guitar-heavy song.
For sure,
And it's
yeah.
not- I do like the guitar-heavy songs, but I don't think it makes for a balanced set to play all guitar-heavy songs.
I get it, yeah.
Now there's a couple that I think are too far the other way, like They, but I think I'm finally finding my groove in They.
That's good. I'm glad you didn't give up on it.
Yeah, I am glad too. And actually, it was just the other night. I thought it was San Francisco was the best They
Really?
to date. I didn't quite duplicate it last night in Sacramento, but I have a totally new approach to it.
There you go. That's good. Wonderful.
What's Eric's favorite song of the tour? You know, actually, what I really like playing is Satan's Propaganda.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Yeah, that one
I
just
love
is
that
a
one.
groove. It's just cool.
Yeah,
it's
that
just
one's
It's a nice
for
spot
sure.
in the set. No, but you know what I like? I like Hate Like Me.
I do too. That's a good.
Yeah,
It's a great
I think
opener.
it's
Yeah.
I think it's a great opener. I'm happy with the set.
Me
I mean, you
too,
can't
yeah.
go wrong. Maggots, of course. What the
Oh
Fuck,
yeah.
Blue Royale. I mean, they're all good.
Mm-hmm.
They're all good. They're all good. All right, anybody, what do you got out there? What do you got? Now we're gonna do.
Moving on into the actual live.
Yeah, now we're live, and actually, I wasn't expecting anybody to catch on here, given the weird time zone. I'm rarely on the West Coast, so when I'm in Germany, it's a little more time favorable to obviously the Germans, but for the Arizona people and the West Coast people, it's always like 7 a.m. that we're
Right.
live.
Yeah.
So Nikki and Misty and even Les, who I'm not sure is on right now, get a little preferential treatment right here.
Nice.
All right, Andrea in Hamburg, heading for work. Thank you for the interview. Dane is a really cool guy. Yes, he is. Yes,
Thank
he
you.
is.
Appreciate it.
Let's see, what else? Any other last
Have a good
questions?
day at work.
Dane, do you have any words of wisdom?
Any words of wisdom? Yeah. I think, right now, this is a pretty cool testament of what can happen when you put yourself out there. It was, because if I hadn't sent that email that day, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you or playing in this band or, here's the thing. I have pretty strong faith and I'd be here eventually, but I don't think I'd be here as quickly as I had been if I hadn't,
It's
kind
a
of
cool story.
put myself on the line like that. So that's, never be afraid to do that, man. That's all it comes down to,
Very good, very good. Well, everybody, I want to first thank you for your questions and your interest and really for your patience in two parts. One, we truly have been trying to get this together, and even tonight, it's a night off. Not to get away, Dane, he was tired today. He wasn't feeling 100%. I said, let's do it today. You don't have to. And it was actually, we got to thank Will because we came back to the bus. And Will's like, you doing an interview or what? And I was like,
That's good,
and I
yeah.
said, he's like, come on, man. I said, you know what? Will was right. So you guys should thank Will for pushing it. Oh wait, we have a couple questions here. Favorite tour date so far? What was your favorite show of the tour?
New York City.
New York City.
That was a show for me. I was like, okay, this is real, and I'm doing it, and I cried. I was so happy that I played that show. It was so heavy, and it was such a wow. We're in New York City, Gramercy Theater. It's a huge, packed room, and the crowd was so good. I know you were sick and not really feeling that good, but for me anyway,
I was happy though. It was a good show.
Yeah, no, that was the first wow. We're this is real, and we're doing it. So that for me, that was the best one so far.
Awesome.
And L.A. too, of course.
Yeah, LA was for me. Who's your? Oh, this is a good question. Who's your favorite member of the band? Now that you got to know you.
Favorite member of the band? There's only one answer to that. One real answer,
Yeah.
and that's Andy. Everyone knows that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Andy's my favorite member of the band.
But yeah.
Now that Nick's gone. Oh shit. What else we got? Any other questions? Love you guys. Put yourself out there. That's right. Yeah.
Words
good
to
for
live
Will.
by.
Back to South America. Will should play a washboard all the time.
You should.
Yeah, right.
And you should wear those boots all the time.
Yeah,
I
I
think,
wish those
for
boots.
here.
You know, we have the boots with us. One show, I'm going to come out. Actually, I have the shirt right here.
Do you?
I have the shirt from the Understand video. It's in my suitcase right now. I bought that shirt the day before I left for tour
Really?
at Trash Vaudeville in New York, and I wore it one time to dinner, and then I wore it in the video.
Perfect.
I actually haven't worn it since.
Neither have I. I haven't worn
it
any of my
since.
clothes.
I haven't worn it.
I don't want that barrel though. That still hurts my hand from when I had to bend that thing forever.
Here's a good question. We have 2 more questions.
Okay.
Were you surprised about Eric's Rune Army members appearing through the tour?
Quite surprised actually. I was like, whoa! I didn't know that. It was almost like a separate cult. Almost. It was kind of like following this whole thing. Yes, it was really interesting to see, and I'm still kind of learning about it. But yeah, it's really cool.
I prefer the term family, but we are like a little cult.
Well, you know what I mean.
We are like a little cult. I mean, we're not like Branch Davidian or anything yet, but say this is truly a family environment. In fact, so I just had dinner. The guy who made this wine and I just had dinner, and he asked me about Patreon. He's considering a Patreon. He has a really compelling story, and I said, yeah, and I said, I think you should do it. I said, you're going to be amazed about Patreon, how it has evolved, and we've been over this. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but for these guys, what it started as and what it's become, it's a really amazing journey, and how people have come together. And this tour has actually taken it to a new level. I will admit, I've been wanting to make a video. I've been feeling very guilty. These last 2 weeks are the lowest amount of content I've ever provided in the year and a half on Patreon. I'm just too busy doing my job here, and when I'm on tour with Combichrist, this is what we do. I focus on Combichrist and playing the best show I can play, taking care of my health, and then, as you know, I'm tour managing, and it requires a lot of time. And I just haven't had any free time that I can devote to Patreon. I have to devote it to sleeping or resting or whatever I have to do that day. And I appreciate your patience through this time, but that's what it's about. It's that it's evolved. But at the same time, so much Rune Army has happened on the tour itself. There's been so many people that this is the highest level of personal contact the Rune Army has ever experienced. So it's making me feel better about the lack of content. But I do appreciate your patience waiting for the interview with Dane. I know there's been a lot of questions waiting for Dane to get in there.
Well, thanks for having the questions to begin with. That's really cool.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Trinity. She says she still loves me.
That's good.
Another question: what blew you away about the reception from the fans, if anything?
Just the fact that they were so welcoming. I was a bit apprehensive at first, not knowing what to expect. Like, are they gonna think I'm cool? Or are they gonna be like, well, what is this guy doing? Or if I wasn't sure, but it was a really cool. Especially, a few weeks into the tour, kind of like seeing a consistent affirmation of, oh yeah, they kind of like what I'm doing, and it seems to click. So that was, the best response I could really ask for. So,
do you like cats?
I do not. No.
What?
I don't like. Here's the thing. I don't like pets necessarily.
Wow. You know what?
I know.
You shouldn't ask that last question.
I'm gonna get
Dane
so
was
much
just on
hate
a
for
high.
that.
Dane was like riding in the nights all of a sudden.
But I gotta be myself. And here's the thing: I don't not like cats and dogs, but I don't like fucking love cats and dogs like some people do. So it's just not for me. I'll totally be cool with a cat.
What about a guinea pig?
No, I don't need that. No.
Ferret?
No.
Snake?
No. Animals are great. I love animals.
Grasshopper.
I just don't want one. So none of that.
Fired.
Okay.
Fired.
Man, you lost it. Oh, look, you lost it.
Did I lost him? Oh,
come on, we got to bring him back. Let's put him back up.
Bye-bye.
All right, on that note, thank you guys, everybody. Thank you, Dane. You know what?
Yeah.
I learned quite a bit about Dane, as we do every interview. Will, Howie, Nick, Keith, the driver. Wait, we might have done that in this very hotel. I think
really?
We might have done the Keith. No, we did that somewhere else. But nonetheless, thanks, Dane. This will be available on replay, and we'll see you guys again. Tomorrow is Portland, Oregon, and we're going to go live from Soundcheck. So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you guys later.
Good night,
Crazy
y'all.
Cat Lady, sorry about that. Talk to you later.